Dan from Canada, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Hello, Dan. Hello, Tracy. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. Dan from Canada, what do you have for us today?
So, I've had this idea kicking around my head for a long time that the more advanced we get as a species in regards to technology, the less evidence that we leave of our society and our modern day species. So, I'm wondering if in the sands of antiquity, a powerful ancient civilization could have had advanced technology that ended up being advanced to the point that they didn't leave signs of it, and we've just kind of overlooked it.
So wait, is this a question? You're asking what's the possibility that it basically aliens were here and then just kind of left, or what?
Well, they don't necessarily have to be aliens. I mean,
Okay.
I know I bring them up like every other call, but no, like, so on a small scale, let me give an example of what I'm talking about, and then maybe my idea won't be so crazy. 100 years ago, we used to create music with instruments of the time, and we have evidence of this through physical recordings of the music, paper copies of sheet music, people having books talking about, we have all this physical media about music and the music of the time, so we can recreate bar songs from the 1900s.
Yeah.
Jump ahead. Now we're in an era of digital storage, MP3 music, and new creations, electronic media, electronic music. There's not a physical item that I can point to after the fact that isn't just a storage media. And storage media don't last forever in the digital age. They become obsolete and inaccessible.
Are you talking about something akin to the Silurian hypothesis?
I don't know, because I don't know what that is by its name.
Look into that. From what you're telling me, it sounds like you'll like it. But I understand what you're getting at, and the only real problem for me is, yes, that may have happened, but due to our limited ability to find just the environment on Earth isn't really conducive to things surviving for very long. For instance, we know through archaeological findings and genetic research that, humans were widespread across the Earth at a very early age of our species. And it is necessary for us to have had pretty advanced seafaring capability. I'm not talking, crazy, but good ships that can sail the high seas. And we just don't have any of those boats. We can't find any of those boats. We can't find even drawings of any of these boats. We know that they must have had boats because they got across the ocean, but we don't have any of them. That we can't really have any of them. So we're talking so far back in the past that even if it were to have happened, I don't see how we could possibly know, because what sort of evidence would we expect if that were to be the case? We wouldn't have any, just due to the natural consequence of being on Earth in our oxygen and nitrogen rich atmosphere with all of the, tectonic movement and the acid and base that falls from the sky with regularity. I don't know how we would ever even find that out. It seems like a fairly unfalsifiable claim.
Yeah. I think I tend to agree. Like, if Tracy killed Kelly, okay, and I knew that it happened. I saw it. But and we went to court over this, and even if it was absolutely true, it was recorded in the universe that it happened. If we don't have any evidence to that, it wouldn't be just for us to put Kelly in jail for it. It's like we weren't able to demonstrate
Kelly's
that,
dead.
even if it was absolutely true. And
Kelly would have been passed if I killed him.
Yeah. So he's the only witness to the crime, so you can get away with it. But what I'm saying is, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It just matters if we can demonstrate it to be true, right? I think this is the key thing here. It's like, yeah, it could be, and maybe it did, but like if I can't prove it to be true, it's not reasonable for me to say it's true. So I don't know if I really worry about it too much, right? Maybe we find some evidence somehow, some way that absolutely something like that could have occurred. But right now, I don't think it's out there. I don't think we have it.
Well, I won't say that there's necessarily evidence or proof. Evidence is kind of iffy of a word, but I'm drawing conclusions from things I've put together in my own mind. So could megalithic structures be that leftover evidence that we had technology that we don't now? Because we have things that we still can't understand or reproduce.
You mean like pyramids or like what? What do you mean?
Yeah, pyramids or older structures, the giant, the problem of giant rocks being piled in such precise manners that we can't get tools between the gaps. We can't recreate the same way of doing the Greek columns. There's stuff we don't understand still.
Okay, Kelly is. I'm gonna let Kelly in right now. He's about to type some stuff in the chat, but he wants to talk to you, I think. Kelly, let's get Kelly in here. Kelly's getting fired up. Put that man on screen. Kelly, go ahead.
Yeah, Dan, you just said something that really irks me, and I hear it a lot from people with these ideas, is that the stones are so close together you can't fit anything between them. Well, Dan, if I just took 2 bricks and just set them up on top of each other, you can't fit anything between them, because if you could, the top brick would be floating in the air. It would be levitating. So yeah, of course you can't fit anything between the rocks in the pyramid or some ancient building, or say the wall at Sacsayhuaman, right? Because if they're stacked, there's no space there. That's it. That's all I wanted to say, because I hear that all the time. And it's just, I mean, if you think about it logically, it's a really stupid statement.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. More news from Kelly at 10. He's always got the tie on. It's always great. Anyway, there you go. What do you think about that, Dan?
I think it has to do more with the supposed smoothness of the surface, because while I might not be able to get my finger between 2 bricks, 2 rough-hewn bricks, I could get a spark plug gap tool, thin piece of metal gauge kind of thing. A probe like that could fit.
Where are you buying?
Do you think it would be more likely that a spark plug gap tool was used to make bricks than something else?
I'm talking about just things you measure the distance of. Yeah.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying, but I guess I don't like the idea. Is still kind of doesn't make sense, because if you are this advanced civilization and you're doing all this stuff, why are you still working with rocks and bricks and stuff? Why wouldn't you be using something else, right? Like, it just seems like every material we have left over seems to be concurrent with just ancient societies, right? Like, there doesn't seem to be any extant technology or technique that we have recorded that would demonstrate we'd have a reason to believe they were using anything else otherwise, right?
And if you take 2 rocks and you put them on top of each other and you just sort of rub them together, eventually, because they're both abrasive and made of granular material, for the most rocks are, as far as I've seen, they will fit together really well. Mm-hmm. So like, this does, and if you just leave it to set there for, hundreds of years, thousands of years, however long, it doesn't seem at all surprising that they would form to each other with such you said precision, but it doesn't seem at all shocking that would happen. Why are you shocked by this?
Yeah.
Well, damn, guys. I mean, here I am with my lofty ideas, and you're just so full of logic and reason. No, interesting things to think of, and
we have a geologist on our side, to be fair.
That's true. We have a learned man who can tell us these things. Because Lord knows that's not my expertise. Okay.
I mean, there may in fact be evidence for this, but until you have something other than rocks that fit really well together, I'm not going to be able to buy into any sort of even a pre-industrial civilization.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm on the same page. Dan from Canada, any last thoughts before we let you go?
No, thank you, gentlemen, for taking my call and letting me discuss this idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We enjoyed talking to you, Dan, because you know why? Because you are nice about it. And you know what? He said nice things about us. So how can we be
I like
wrong?
talking to him. He was real nice.
Exactly. I loved it. Dan from Canada has called him before. Great guy.